Ready to begin. Thank you. Commissioner Gladney, we can't hear you.
Commissioner Gladney, we're not able to hear you.
All right, can folks hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize for that confusion. It was my intention to join in person today, but my kids had to be dropped off at school at 8:10, so that made it kind of hard. And then my computer isn't working, so I'm on my phone. But we're making it work. Is everybody ready to get going? I know we're not going to have a quorum today, so probably makes the most sense just to get started.
Ready.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole meeting for Thursday, February 26, 2026. Ms. Bennett, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Gladney,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Simmons,
Here.
Commissioner Jackson Jennings,
Present.
Commissioner Galladay,
Here.
Commissioner Cox, Commissioner Johnson, and Commissioner Beach.
Here.
You can proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Bennett, since the committee does not require a quorum to proceed, we can proceed as a committee of the whole. I'm going to read through some descriptions to make sure I get this exactly right, but essentially we don't have a quorum for this meeting. We knew we were not going to have one due to some prior commitments of some commissioners and due to a lack of commissioners on Missouri's side currently. But there is some information that we needed to discuss amongst the board. So we are doing this in this fashion today to try to get some of these big ticket items that we need to discuss in front of the board and in front of the public with further action to be taken later. But with that, I'll finish reading this portion so we get it all on the record. In order to clarify our process today as a committee of the whole, we are not able as a board to approve any matters. So all items today will be for information only. In the interest of transparency of the public, the full agenda that would have been brought up to the full Board of Commissioners has been distributed and published, but several items will need to be moved to the next full Board of Commissioners meeting for approval. I will note those items when I call them on the agenda. For certain items, the president will inquire of us as commissioners to determine if we are comfortable with him proceeding to move forward certain items under the president's emergency authority. I will note that those items on the agenda when they occur as well, and ask for discussion of those items to determine the sense of the committee to allow the president to proceed. Are there any questions about this before we begin? I understand this is a unique process that is allowed by our bylaws, but I appreciate everybody working with us here. So with that, we move on to public comment. The board is allowing for in-person public comments at today's meeting. In order to speak, individuals were required to sign up through the website in advance of the meeting. Anyone who is unable to obtain a time slot to speak in person was given the opportunity to submit written comments through the website. Mr. Lenars, do we have any in-person speakers for today's meeting?
No, we do not, Mr. Chair.
Okay, following up, Ms. Bennett, could you provide a summary of any written public comments that were received for today's meeting?
Yes, Chair. We received one public comment for today's meeting along with a memo, excuse me, from the Metro Transit Accessibility Advisory Committee chairperson. That information was distributed to the board members and to staff prior to the meeting and is included in today's meeting materials. Those materials will also be included in today's minutes.
Thank you for that. And I did review that information. I know the other commissioners did as well. Moving on to the next item, the minutes for the December 5, 2025 Board of Commissioners open meeting have been provided for review of the board, this item will be moved to the next Board of Commissioners meeting for approval. On to number 5, report of the president. Mr. Roach, do you have a report?
A brief one. Thank you, Chair. First of all, just want to note that, as you all have seen, the gates are going up, and not only are the gates going up, but we do have new ticket vending machines on property, which is a very, very exciting step. Obviously, getting all of this together in the June timeline is right now on schedule and going well, so I always want to keep the board updated on that. The ticket vending machines are, in fact, going through the normal testing and so on. Remember, these are as complicated as a cash machine at your bank, so they do tend very important that we have a lot of security protocol with these, but they are on property and it is moving along very well. I also want to thank this commission for the budget process. Remember, budget process means that internally we have months and weeks of work. I know also that several commissioners have met with Tammy, and I'm really appreciative of that time and that kind of time investment. But remember, after I get a approval from you to move forward, I have weeks of work to work with our really important supporters. Just as simple as meetings with, for instance, county councils, with the Board of Aldermen, with, for instance, St. Clair County, talking with Mr. Sharkey. All of those are very, very critical and are very time exhaustive. So I really am very appreciative of the board's ability to move and hopefully authorize the emergency provisions so we can keep things on time. So I just want to thank everybody for their time this morning, and I hope we move on accordingly.
Are there any questions for Mr. Roach? Okay, Talby, I just wanted to make one comment. I wanted to thank you and your staff for pushing hard now to get this June completion of this project done. I know the board has been on you guys pretty hard on this. I think the commitments that we make to the public are important, and I wanted to thank you and everyone down for the work you're doing to help us keep to that deadline, and of course, keep us and the public apprised as early as you can if something changes on that. But thank you for paying attention to this and understanding the role and responsiveness that we have with the public on this matter. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
On to number 6, report of the Operations Committee. Commissioner Moore, do you have a report?
I do, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. And the report is as follows. A virtual meeting of the Operations Committee was held on January 29th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. The draft minutes of that meeting are included in the meeting materials today under item 6. The Operations Committee recommended approval of one item, which is noted on today's agenda as consent agenda item number 10. And that is sole source authorization purchase of high rail gear with bucket specificity vehicle resolution number 1467. In addition, at the October committee meeting, an operations report and a workforce update was provided by Mr. Ron Forrest, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Metro Transit. An executive session was not held. This concludes my report for the Operations Committee.
Thank you for that report. Moving on to item number 7, the Audit and Finance and Administration Committee. Commissioner Jackson Jennings, do you have a report?
I do, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. A virtual meeting of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee was held on January the 29th, 2026, immediately following the Operation Committee meeting. The draft minutes of that meeting are included in the meeting materials under item number 7. The AFA Committee recommended approval of 2 items, which are noted on today's agenda as consent agenda item number 10. Number B, governmental consulting contracts, March 2026 through February 2028, resolution number 1468, and item number C, contract award temporary help services, resolution number 1469. In addition, at the January meeting, the draft fiscal year 2027 operating and capital budgets were presented for review. And this item is on today's agenda under item number 11, by State Development Operating and Capital Budget Resolution number 1470 and grant resolutions number 1471 through 1477. Several informational items were also presented at the committee meeting, including 2025 pension valuations update, internal audit department follow-up summary second quarter FY 2026, internal audit department status report second quarter FY 2026, internal audit department state safety oversight status report fourth quarter calendar year 2025, financial statements, treasury's report, treasurer safekeeping report, and procurement report. An executive session was held at the January meeting. However, the item that was recommended for approval will be held until the next full board meeting. And this concludes my report for the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Commissioner. Moving on to item number 9, adjustments to the consent agenda. So since we do not have a quorum today, all of the consent agenda items will be moved forward to the next full Board of Commissioners meeting. However, given the need to preserve current pricing on some of these items and lock in vendors to perform these services, the President is requesting a discussion of the items on the consent agenda so that the committee can determine whether it concurs with him in using his emergency procurement authority to approve these contracts now and seek ratification of his actions at the next full board meeting. So to simplify that again for members of the board here, the president Talby does have authority to exercise some emergency power, emergency procurement power here in this instance, since we do not have a quorum and cannot vote. I spoke with Talby before this and got an opinion from Greg as well. You know, my preference is, of course, to do all the business we can with the full committee, with the full quorum, so that we can exercise our authority under both Illinois and Missouri statute. However, there are some instances, you know, like today, where we have to move forward with some items, so we want to be mindful of that, so we're not slowing up the business of the board. So on to item number 10, I want to ask Mr. Roach if he has any comments, either specifically on this executive procurement authority or on any of the items on the consent agenda. Mr. Roach.
Very good. Thank you, Chairman. Yes, there are very 3 items really that were specifically advanced on the committee level. And with each negotiated contract, I obtained pricing that was based on this kind of timeline. And they are very specific to those issues. So, for instance, contracts on the government consulting side, everybody's very familiar with those. No changes, really. Essentially, we still only have 5 of them. And so we have a very good situation there, pre-negotiated contracts. And then, of course, on the bucket truck, that's a very specialized type vehicle. There's a lot of competition for those vehicles right now, and we need it. So I really do very much appreciate just operationally the understanding of moving forward on an emergency basis on that. Of course, I'm loath to do this, certainly don't want to unless absolutely necessary, but I do think, especially at a committee level and at this level, we have been very thorough in the discussion of all of these items, including a significant investment in time by various commissioners. So I'm very appreciative of that. And the other is a temporary help services, item C, that is also a pre-negotiated contract that I would have to renegotiate the contract according to the timeline. We did not, obviously, weren't assuming that we would have a quorum issue. I apologize for that. We'll try to move forward as best we can, but I think what we're doing is all trying to work together and make this company still work properly. So thank you for that.
Okay, and I wanted to highlight again that I'm going to ask shortly if any of the members object to giving Mr. Roach emergency procurement authority in this specific instance. The granting it in this instance does not some way grant it for other things or other matters that are not listed here. I do want to preserve, obviously, the role of the board. So does any member of the board object to any of these items being authorized to proceed on an emergency basis by the president and CEO pursuant to board policy section 10.020 board bylaws Article 8. Are there any objections? Does anybody want discussion on those matters? Okay. Hearing no objections, the president and CEO will move forward with all items being resubmitted to the Board of Commissioners for formal approval and adoption of resolutions at a later date when we are able to convene a full meeting of the Board of Commissioners. All right, moving on to item number 11, Resolution 1470 and Grant Resolution 1471 through 1477. This item is being presented for information purposes only to determine if the board concurs with the president proceeding to present these budgets to St. Clair County, St. Louis County, and St. Louis City, and is seeking full board approval at the next full Board of Commissioners meeting. Ms. Paris, do you have any comments?
Yes, I just have a couple and I will be quick. First off, I want to say thank you to the commissioners for spending time with me after the last committee meeting. And I did send out some additional questions that came up during that meeting and answers. I'm happy to meet with any of you at any time. If you want to speak on the budget some more, I'm happy to do that. And then this morning, I just want to share. So as I mentioned last time, when we go through this process, we've moved it up to January, February timeframe. It used to be in March and April. So we did have a couple adjustments, nothing to transit, mainly just to executive services. So I just want to run through those changes just so you're aware of them and I bring them to your attention. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. So here is the executive services screen or slide. And so what we made changes to here was to the expense line item. So nothing to wages or benefits. Services, we increased by about $350,000. That was just some consulting services that we had in there. Casualty insurance, that number wasn't in there before. So that $84,576. And then other, we needed to add an additional $200,000. It's related to leases. And it's just somewhat of an accounting book entry, but we needed to put it in there. So the end result changed the income from about 1.3 to about 650,000. And then just one more thing that I wanted to bring your attention to, and I can't seem to get my screen to move right now, is that we also have some transfer items on workers' comp and on casualty. And so we had to true up those transfer numbers, but they are below the line. So what that means is that they are not within operating expenses, but I did need to make a couple changes there. But those are the only changes that we made. Again, nothing to transit or to any of the other enterprises, and any other changes that you might have seen or more formatting changes, just kind of cleaning up the book, editing it, trying to get it better every time we take a look at it. But I'm happy to answer any questions this morning also.
Are there any questions for Tammy?
Excuse me, it's Deborah Moore. This is not a question, Ms. Parrish, but it's a thank you for the time you spent with us. I say myself and Commissioner Jackson Jennings. But I will tell you, in all honesty, I didn't have a chance to go through everything you provided because of the timing I received it, and there was some intervening activities that prevented. So I could very well circle back,
Yes.
maybe with a question or two during the process, even if we move forward today, because I just did not have time to review everything. And what you provided was comprehensive, very thorough, but I just did not have an opportunity to go through all of the items that you presented. But again, I say thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And I'd like to stress that, of course, we are very much open to any additional information during this process, right? Obviously, thank you for giving me time to work the budget, but of course, at any time, if there's questions, even in the middle of the year, where this commission would like to see some specific drill downs by myself or staff, we are more than happy to do that, and we are committed to that as our role, and increasing your confidence in staff and in a very complex budget process is obviously an objective that we are absolutely committed to. So thank you very much.
Any other questions for Tammy? I have one quick one, but I'll let others go first if anybody has one. Okay, hearing none, I'll go. Tammy, I saw in the report, I might have read this wrong, but forecasted passenger revenue, I think it was projected at like an 18.4% increase. That's what I had in my notes. I mean, that I might have got that number wrong, but regardless, how do you arrive at, because I understand a lot of budgeting is assumptions. So how do you
Yes.
arrive at assumptions like that? What do you think is the most challenging assumption to make when it relates to our budget? And what's our process for making those?
So we've been around $20 million. That's what our actual passenger revenue has been at. And so in the last year, we've seen that tick up about $1 million to $2 million. And some of that has just been increased ridership. We think SPP is playing a role in that. And so I was pretty conservative in my numbers, but I think they're realistic and that's what I should do. So that's what's accounting for that increase. So no increase in fares, but just really looking at ridership and passenger revenue that we're currently seeing and projecting a little bit more than that in the upcoming year.
And we are seeing increased ridership right now across the system. I mean, that's a known fact, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Excuse me, for Tammy? Okay, hearing none. Does any member of the board object to the president, CEO moving forward with the presentation of this proposed budget to our 3 local funding entities, St. Clair's, St. Louis County, St. Louis City? Hearing no objections, the president and CEO may move forward with this item being resubmitted to the Board of Commissioners for formal approval and adoption of resolutions at a later date when we are able to convene a full meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Item number 12, unscheduled business. Mr. Roach, is there any unscheduled business?
I have no unscheduled business this morning.
Okay, now on to the operations report. I will ask Ron Forrest for comments. Ron?
Let me share my presentation with you all. All right, can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, so I'll advance this. Good morning, commissioners. As always, it is a pleasure to be able to share with you all some of the work that we're doing over here at Metro Transit and give you guys an update of where we are. So what you see here is a snapshot of where we stand on staffing. Now, with the exception of Call-A-Ride, we still have budgeted vacancies across multiple classifications. Operator vacancies are down to roughly 2%, which is an improvement from the last report. But the maintenance classification, that remains our highest gap at just over 30%. However, we do show some improvement in some of those classifications. And we're gaining ground. We're getting closer to our budgeted number of Metro bus operators. We're at 639 operators now. And this is the strongest position I've seen since arriving. Our next class begins March 9th, and we expect to maximize that class at 25 students. On the Metrolink side, we've significantly closed that gap and now have only 3 vacancies. Call-A-Ride is currently over budgeted headcount, but importantly, we are closer to approximately 200 operators actually needed to meet that demand. On the maintenance side, we filled all our facilities electrician positions and are down just 2 general maintenance mechanics. So we continue to experience challenges hiring bus and light rail vehicle mechanics, but we are closer to a sustainable solution than we've been in years. All right, so what are we doing here?
Before you leave that slide, I'm sorry for the interruption. Could you go back just a second? And
Of course.
just the difference between filled positions and active, or does this represent people who are off on work comp or something?
It does. Those are people who are off for 90 days or longer. So those are long-term absences, but they still occupy a budgeted position.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so our hiring progress it's not accidental. It's a reflection of a coordinated effort across Metro Transit and bi-state to address what has been an acute workforce shortage. What are we doing? We're streamlining the hiring process, working with HR to do that. We're cutting timelines in the hiring process from months to weeks. We've introduced Zoom interviews to speed up applicant screening. And we've increased Metro Bus and Caller Ride training class frequency from every couple of months to monthly. Also, our training team has been working hard at building long-term workforce pipelines. We're preparing to launch our mechanic apprenticeship program, which will allow us to hire technical college students as paid apprentices, and develop them into full-time mechanics. That program is expected to last anywhere from 18 months to 2.5 years. Our team has been visiting local technical colleges. They've been speaking directly with students and generating strong interest in advance of actual implementation of our program. Now, this program is designed to solve a long-standing maintenance workforce challenges, not just for today, but obviously, that's going to, go into the future.
Mr.
All right,
Forrest.
Riders.
Mr.
Yes.
Forrest, quick question on that apprenticeship program. Who are you partnering with?
Well, we're going to Rankin College right now, but we're also speaking with other colleges. We're speaking with some veterans programs. So, I don't have the whole list, but Rankin is one that I know for sure we're partnering with. That's the one that the team visited a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
Just to follow up, if I may, are you looking at high school levels that have the technical components? Like in Bevel, we have, I think it's called the Cave, I believe it's called, but we have mechanical, electrical, I think construction and other areas. Are you looking at high school as well, is the question?
No, we haven't looked at high school, but we can do that in order to establish a deeper pipeline to hiring. Now, of course, they'll have to be out of high school in order to to be hired on. But yeah, we can look at that and establish a deeper pipeline. Right now, we're looking at 18 to as young as 18 years old in the technical colleges, though.
Well, I know the high schools, both 189, I think, and 201 in Belleville, both have mechanics, as part of their vocational training. Just a thought.
Okay. All right. I'll have the team look into that. Thank you. Okay, ownership continues to move in the right direction. We're up over 6% system-wide across all modes. Colorado, of course, is experiencing the most significant growth. It's now up to 33.7%. Our microtransit on-demand service, which operates exclusively out there in St. Louis County, is also steadily growing. So ridership demand continues to get stronger. Therefore, those challenges, our challenge is ensuring that we have the workforce and operational strategies in place to keep pace. So we're working hard to do that. And here is this, the slide shows the relationship between Caller Ride operators, Caller Ride trips, and Caller Ride on-time performance. The green line reflects operator headcount, which has plateaued over the last several months. The blue line shows monthly trips, which have decreased over the winter months from its summer and fall peaks. And the red line shows on-time performance, which typically has an inverse relationship with higher demand, particularly when those resources are limited. But we are beginning to see improvement. January closed at 87.5%, as you can see, on-time performance. Now that's about 4.5% below our goal, but we're moving in the right direction, and we expect to continue to do so. Addressing the supply versus demand issue at Caller Ride, it remains one of our biggest operational challenges, but again, we're making progress. But what are we doing? We're pursuing a combination of strategies. Some of the ideas are as follows. We want to position operators and vehicles at satellite locations closer to the pickup points. We're evaluating zone limits, implementing zone limits. We're improving our routing software. We're talking to some vendors now to make sure we have a software that's dynamic and can give us what we need in a very high-paced, dynamic environment. And we're using overflow service through our VIA, which is our microtransit provider. And then finally, we're continuing to build our workforce. We recognize that addressing this concern will require a layered solution, which is why we are evaluating all of these options. All right. We continue to regularly engage our accessibility advisory committees. We meet, listen, we incorporate feedback into our service and operational decisions. Our next meeting is Friday, March 20th. This partnership remains critical to ensuring our services meet the needs of the community, especially as it relates to caller ride trips and implementing a new service strategy. All right, Ride Every Route, that continues to be a success. We continue receiving valuable feedback from both passengers and operators. We're identifying real opportunities to improve our efficiency and rider experience. We're incorporating those into our service plans, our quarterly service plans. We are nearly complete with riding every route, but this is not going to be a one-time effort. Ongoing engagement is going to be essential. We recognize that we need to stay connected to those frontline realities in order for us to make better decisions. All right, we have a service change coming up March 16th. That is already out. Operators are currently bidding on that this week. What will be in that service change? We'll have 26 Metro bus routes. They'll see improved run times and adjustments to start and end times. This is going to help us improve reliability. These are the things that we heard directly from our passengers. And so we've made those adjustments as appropriate. We're also preparing for the opening of Mid-America Airport Extension. Testing along that line, alignment will begin soon, probably in the next few months. All right, and finally, we have two major job fairs, one coming up this weekend on February 28th, another March 7th. These events are part of our continued push to strengthen our workforce pipeline across all of those multiple classifications that we've discussed. And this concludes my update. I do want to stress that we are seeing meaningful progress in staffing, ridership, and operational improvements, but we still want to be candid about those challenges that remain. So it's important for me to get in front of you all and let you know about all of that. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Ron?
Yeah, Mr. Forrest, are we still in negotiations with the mechanics on their contract?
Yes, we are. We're in negotiation not only with mechanics, but also operators.
And do you know offhand how long the mechanics have been with out of contract?
Well, the contract expired last year. So it's been almost a year or a little over 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I just wanted to highlight one thing again, Ron, and thank you and your team. You noticed those service adjustments, and you said 26 routes. We're going to have, new improved run times for those. It sounds like we're increasing and expanding service a little bit on a lot of these routes. And I wanted to, one, thank you guys for doing this. And two, anybody that's listening, and Talby, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because, the only transit system I know is ours, the ones around the country. I think this is pretty unique in this time to be in a position to be, increasing and expanding service a little bit. We've done this now for a few quarters in a row. That we had a few lean quarters when I first started on the board when we had to make some cuts. And now it sounds like we're doing a good job of taking in public input, to make sure the system is responsive to people. managing our budget so that we are in a position to be able to do this sort of thing. And I wanted to thank you guys for that. And Talby, Ron, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are too many systems around the country right now that are in the position that we're in.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of systems are struggling. They're in some very dire positions, and fortunately for us, we are not. So, our goal is to make sure that we improve our reliability first, and then our goal is to, once we improve that, it's to continue to build ridership, make a more concerted effort to build ridership. And yes, that's going to take increasing frequencies. That's going to take increasing coverage. And so that's our plan. And we're on the way to doing that.
I really, really appreciate the opportunity, Chairman. Thank you. And yes, that's true. And part of the reason is the partnership that we continue to build. As you guys know, I probably bore you with the year over year, in other words, multiple financial years in which we've shown discipline. But it is because of that reason that we are not looking at a financial crisis. We manage our books every single year and do it on a multiple year basis. We were very conservative with our COVID money. We did not use it to mask issues. We confronted issues earlier. And while sometimes that's harder and we have harder decisions, it means that we build a structural continuity that allows us to do things. So that is absolutely right. We are not in the circumstance of our partners at KCATA in Kansas City. We are not like Philadelphia at SEPTA. We are not like MTA in New York. And that has to do with the everyday year after year management that this board has been an active part of. So I want to thank you for those efforts. Remember that budget matters. It really matters. And I know I've had that commitment from this board and insight on pieces. And so I really do appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. And I encourage everybody to if you have questions of Tammy regarding the budget, I've got a few more to please reach out and let's be active in this process. Okay, closing out op number 13, reminding folks that was presented for information only. On to 14, Ms. Bennett, could you please give a summary of the upcoming board and commission meeting dates? And yes, you give that.
The next Safety and Security Committee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 5th. The next Operations Committee meeting, as well as the next Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee meeting, are scheduled for March 26th. All of the meetings will be beginning at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, and then highlighting that March 26th meeting, I wanted to see if the members of the board could check, if we can give them a minute to see if they're available for that. And we're juggling, make sure we would have a quorum there. So the idea is to run this next meeting concurrently with the operations and AFA meetings that are already scheduled for the 26th. So if folks can check and get back to Myra here shortly so we can ensure we have a quorum and we can move forward in a standard manner.
I have a question.
Yes.
Talby, what's the status of the state of Missouri getting us 2 more commissioners? Is there anything you can say publicly?
I can give a little bit of this too. I think we should hear something good in the next couple of weeks, is what we've been told. I think it's been going on too long. I think folks notice that, and I think we're going to get some folks here shortly. If Greg or Talby wants to add to that.
Yeah, I want to thank Chair Gladney for reaching out and working with some of our legislative friends in Missouri to really kind of push the governor's office. I don't have a good explanation, except I will assure you, Commissioner Beach, that we are pushing every single button we can in Missouri. And the last couple conversations, both with the mayor's office and with a Senate legislator in Missouri, were positive. And we were assured we would get 1 to 2 in the next couple of weeks. We promise we're working it. I really do appreciate Illinois' patience with this, but we're going to push every button that we can.
Great, thank you.
Hey, you guys really had an opportunity to push through and make us all root for Illinois basketball in this time when we were understaffed and on the very side, and you didn't do it. I appreciate it.
But hey, SLU's been doing pretty good too.
I know. All right. On the number 15, I think it's time to adjourn. All executive session items that were originally scheduled for today's meeting will be held for approval until the next full board meeting. Therefore, if there is no further business, I would entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Do we need a roll? I always forget. Do we need a roll call for this, or we just need a voice vote sufficient? Or does it?
Voice vote's fine.
Yeah, voice. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day, everyone.
You
Good day.
too.